Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I am JT Bear and today we are playing with one of my harebrained ideas that kind of comes from, watching how other people do things and going, yeah, but I'm probably going to do it different. That's really what I do though, isn't it? I take a gardening idea, I warp it a little bit, I see if it works, I warp it some more, I learn from my mistakes and I carry on. Now, regular viewers who know where I am in the yard may be wondering why the heck we're standing by the gate into the north field on a video that has been titled about something to do with a potato bed. Probably Mr. Blackthumb builds a potato bed, we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to escape through this back gate here and take my handy ice fishing sled. 2 for 25 bucks or whatever. When I got those, that was a good deal. Anyway, we are going to fill that repeatedly with a bunch of straw that I will show you in a minute that is still out in the back field. Unfortunately, I have to kind of carve away to it because this tree is very much overgrown, and unlike my neighbor, I can't take the advantage of a chainsaw because there's a lot of chunks of metal and stuff in there. I'll show you that. It's amazing how much crap we find every year cleaning up this property. And that's one thing to note, when you're buying a very inexpensive rural property, there's probably gonna be cleanup. Actually, I'll show you really quickly on top of these 2 old freezers that were also in the backyard when we moved here. Just some of the stuff we've collected from around this back fence area. It's kind of incredible. And then, yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing and the plan to build Mr. Blackthumb's, Captain Blackthumb's, whatever I'm going to call it, potato bed for 2020. Yeah, you got to see these freezers. This is crazy. So I'm not even kidding. This is just some of the assorted treasures that we have found and been basically stacking up in the area of these 2 freezers. One day we'll get somebody to come in here and we'll sort it all out for proper disposal and stuff, and we'll get rid of these monster freezers. When we first moved in here, I opened one of them and I had to laugh because it was full of gardening equipment, just like I used to do with the old barbecue back in the Okanagan Valley there. But obviously this gives a lot more storage room for that kind of equipment, doesn't it? We have found some incredible stuff though. This chain link fence was all caught up in the dirt. All of these bricks are all over the place. Most of them are making their way to the fire pit just to kind of capture some of the heat. But yeah, bits of tin. This whole pile here, look at all that glass. That's crazy, and I'm not showing you now because it's full of leaves, but if you really look carefully, that is a huge pile of glass in there. And the chickens have almost come up with an equal pile inside the coop since they've been at it. So it's crazy. I think that's a bit of an old car jack or something back there. And then we've got these fiberglass panels. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, I want to get out there so that we can start grabbing some of that straw you see. We had a grader come by, they did some rows. I think it was to kind of slow down the snow in the wintertime. And anyway, there's a whole bunch of it piled up and left over, and I've been assured from the tractor drivers, pilots, whatever you want to call them, that I am free to take that and use it. So I'm gonna. However, the first problem, aside from the wind, and I'm hoping this mic is dealing with that fairly well, is that I've got to cut down a few branches there, and I hope the camera's picking it up, but you can see just some of the twisted random bits of metal that are hanging on that tree. So I've got some cleanup to do, and then hopefully we'll have a nice easy path out to the field so I can collect some straw. Not exactly a straw bale garden this year, but it's kind of sort of a straw bale potato bed thing. Yeah, well, we'll see what it turns into anyway. Well, that was a little quicker than I expected and kind of interesting. Found, I don't know, that looks like a piece from an old doorknob maybe, and I think that might be one of the hangers for the swing it's sitting on. Maybe an old dog ball I should say. Soup can. That looks like signpost, like the posts they use for street signs and stuff. I don't know, very interesting. But over here, this would be the coupe de grace, I guess. Some glass collector out there would probably be really happy to see that. It looks intact, but I'm leaving it there for now until I come out with a pair of gloves because I have been fooled by glass bottles before and I had the scars on my fingertips to prove it. So now that we have created a pathway, we can use our little ice sled. These ice fishing sleds are infinitely useful. I've never been ice fishing, but I will never again be without an ice fishing sled. Pitchfork, and yeah, we'll head out and check out just kind of what's going on in the field here. I mean, I suppose I could pay for a straw bale like ordinary people do, but again, that whole ordinary thing is just never been my strong suit. So there's a goodly amount of it here. Nobody's going to care if I collect it. Like I say, I talked to one of the guys who drives the tractors, and most of this collection here is just from when the grader came by and did those, I think they called them wind rows, to kind of slow the snow that was ripping off the field. As I understand it, if I just kind of leave these here, it's going to create dead spots. So I'm kind of doing whoever holds the lease on this land a favor by collecting it. And if that's not the case, I'd appreciate it if you all just leave me my illusions on that one. Okay, so back up to collect my equipment. So here we are with the 5th sled load of my fine free straw, and I just thought I'd just show you really quickly. All I'm doing here is I'm covering up these 2 little potato mounds that we had last year. This dirt patch is basically the complete size of one of those mounds. The other is already buried in the middle of that pile there. But 5 loads has already brought me this much, and all I'm doing is giving her a dump for now, kicking it out a bit, and then I'm going to come back at this with some of that chicken poop water I keep talking about and give it a nice thorough soaking once I get all of the straw for this round. Alright, so here we have the total pile of 8 sleds acquired from the field, and really all I've kind of done out there is revealed the glacier. It's going to melt a lot faster, and probably took a good half sled load of very large rocks out of there too, so I've done their equipment a favor too. So I do not feel at all bad about this little bit of pillaging to make this little potato garden. Those of you who saw what we had last year, like I showed earlier, just those 2 little strips, this is much larger. I'm very excited. However, you're probably sitting there going, this is not going to break down in time, and you are absolutely right. So I'm not done yet. Here I have a 5-gallon pail, just over half filled with our exclusive blend of chicken enhanced wood shavings. And we are hanging out by the IBC tote because I'm going to fill that pail with water, and we're going to pour that onto my little pile of straw there. Add a little bit of nitrogen that way, kind of help it break down, cheating with science, you know, like humans do. And then after that, we're going to sort of repeat the process, except next time we're going to be half filling the bucket with this much more pure version of the chicken's winter presents. So that'll have a lot more nitrogen. Again, we're going to pour it over and help speed the breakdown process. Well, it's the idea anyway. All right, so we've got our first bucket here with the chicken enhanced wood chips. I'm going to be honest, this does not smell good, but it's all in the sake of more potatoes and a little bit of science and all of that fun stuff. Oh, that stuff came out dry. Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna need more water on there for sure. So based on how poorly that last one poured, I'm just skipping the liquid, and I went with a full bucket of the chicken's special treats. And as it is, it doesn't look like that's gonna be enough to cover the top of this. I am gonna do this a few more times over the coming weeks. Soak it down, mix it up, all that good stuff. But it's a start. So it looks like it's gonna rain. I don't think I need to worry too much about soaking this down again today, but I do figure I'll give it a quick mix, and then I've got another bucket of those chicken treats, as it were. And all I'm doing here is really just kind of letting some of this stuff on top shake down into the straw and get started. You know, full disclaimer, I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but figure I've got access to these resources. And in the worst case scenario, this will work just fine next year. So, I don't mind waiting. It's kind of what gardening is all about. All right, grab that second bucket and toss her on. And yeah, mix it through. Like mixing up a dough, right? So all things considered, this is going to need more nitrogen, more moisture, and most importantly of all, more time. But it's going to be really interesting to see just kind of what comes of it this year. And as I said just a moment ago, worst case scenario, I'm planting it next year. So yeah, anywho, thank you all for joining me on this rather windy day as I, in my Captain Blackthumb kind of way, attempt to put together a quick potato bed, because I actually bought sweet potatoes this year, so it'd be nice to have somewhere to grow them. And this, again, as I said earlier, is significantly larger than what we had growing last year, and those were some pretty darn tasty taters, so here's to hope. All right, folks, let me know down in the comments below what you think, what I should do to speed this up. Do I add lime to this? What do I do? Because yeah, I'm totally winging it, but much love as always, and take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Just stay calm in this stupid situation and get out and garden. You know how I feel about that. All right, get out and garden. Much love, everybody. See you next week.